Stick around, because coming up next is Brawlin News number 99. It's an all MMA edition of Brawlin News, and we're going to talk about Anthony Johnson and how he missed weight for his fight. You bad boy, you. We're also going to talk about Dana White and how he is so upset with ESPN's Outside the Lines. We're also going to talk about Kenny Florian's medical condition, how the California State Athletic Commission has gotten all into Chris Cyborg Santos' stuff, and Anderson Silva, Channel Sonnen 2, and much, much more. All that coming right up. Here at Alternate Reality, less is always more, because all new comics are always 15% off here at Alternate Reality. Every day for everyone. Unlike other stores, I have knocked 15% off the cover price of every new comic that's ever walked out the door here, going all the way back to when I first opened in 1994. So why shop anywhere else when you can come down here and save 15% off every day for everyone at Alternate Reality?
And now, two guys who can brawl their way out of cotton candy. Comic Book Man and Bo with Brawlin News.
These times require men of pugilistic recalcitrance. Brawlin News, episode 99. Difficult times, easy answers.
Snorted.
Hey kids, how you doing? Comic Book Man here. Welcome once again to my video outhouse. It's time for, hey Dad, what time's it?
Fight time!
Fight time!
We're gonna brawl! We're gonna rumble!
Where's your lolly?
It's fight time, Dad! And fight time is coming here from this place, Alternate Reality, which is located at the intersection of 111th and Kensington, beautiful downtown Mount Greenwood.
We're always fighting.
Alternate Reality, where all new comics are always 15% off every day for everyone. Hey Dad! What happened in the middleweight?
Well, son.
Fighter Anthony Johnson. I hear he screwed up his weight.
Oh, he was, he's fighting, actually at the point, right now he's supposed to be fighting Vitor Belfort at UFC 142, which is happening as we're taping this right now. He's supposed to have come in for the fight at 185 pounds.
Yeah?
He didn't. He came in about 11 pounds over the weight he's supposed to be. So,
what a fat ass.
So he had to give up 20% of his purse, and what happened is that he and Belfort agreed that they would fight at 205 pounds. The problem with that was that he didn't make that weight either. So finally, he lost a little weight. He did a little work. He came in at 204.5 pounds. So he actually fit the weight class, and he's had issues with weight before, being either too heavy or being too
heavy,
skinny,
too thin, too this, too that.
So let's just say
he's not a truck driver. He's a fighter. Don't they train?
Well, let's just say that Dana White wasn't very happy, and when he told people he wasn't making weight,
Dana White isn't happy. Nobody's happy.
Dana looked like he's ready to do him. So if Rumble happens to lose the fight against Belfort, bye.
Yeah, you can eat all you want.
Right. An incentive to win.
Right.
Speaking of Dana White, Dana is not happy at all with ESPN's Outside the Lines piece. What is Dana's problem with this hard-hitting documentary?
Well, ESPN.com did a story about UFC paying fighters not as much as they thought they should be getting paid. Okay. UFC's Outside the Lines has a piece on ESPN2, which was on the 16th, the morning of the 16th of January. And the main focus of the piece was an interview with former UFC fighter and WWE and TNA fighter Ken Shamrock, who claimed he was mistreated by UFC and not paid enough, even though...
How many years was he in the UFC being mistreated? I'm just
curious.
Well,
Shamrock...
How many years did he...
Well, see, this is the part...
when he left the WWE, I don't watch MMA, so I mean, that's when he fell off my radar, but he hasn't been in the WWE in a long time, which means he's been in the MMA for a long time.
He left the WWE, then he went to TNA, where he had the goofy signbirds, then he went back into fighting, and the UFC brought him back in 2006, when actually UFC started making a lot of money because the Ultimate Fighter was going on. Now, the problem White has with the piece is the fact that you use Shamrock.
Okay.
Shamrock,
he's an MMA fighter.
When he was brought back into UFC, had income tax problems. Okay. So Dana White and the folks at UFC, out of the goodness of their heart, they gave him $60 grand. So he could get out of his financial problems.
That was nice.
He had a bad knee. They paid for him to have his knee surgery.
So
they signed him to do fights. He made $2.5 million for 3 fights.
So he's an ungrateful prick.
Well, White said it too. He says, wait a minute. He says, I don't mind that you want to do a piece against us. That's fine. Don't pick a guy who we basically more or less pulled out of the gutter to get him back.
Oh, out
into
of the
making money.
gutter. I don't think they pulled him out of the gutter.
Well, he was about to go to jail. And his knee was
So
messed up.
what's there? How was he mistreated? What did he say?
Well, that was the thing. So how do you get mistreated when you consider the fact that we loaned you money, we got your knee fixed, and in the 2 fights you had, you made $2.5 million. He also had a problem with the fact that the ESPN people happened to cut out. You know, they did interviews with a whole bunch of people, and some of the people they talked to had great things to say about the UFC, and those people, of course, were not used, and they were cut out of the piece.
You get your face beat for a living, but how do you mistreat somebody like that?
Yes.
So does ESPN have an agenda against MMA?
ESPN, for a certain point in time, wouldn't even report MMA results. Then they started doing it, but then, of course, they made the big deal with Fox, and so they still put it as part of the crawl, but they didn't really make it.
I bet you they got a lot of money invested in regular boxing.
Well, yeah, and nobody gives a crap about regular boxing. That's the problem.
Not anymore.
I mean, there aren't a lot of big money fights out there. It's not a big deal anymore.
Not anymore.
I mean, when I was growing up, yeah, it's a big deal. It's a big fight.
But you figure everybody at ESPN is purist. They're
Yeah, and there were people at ESPN who basically went out of their way to slam,
that's smart. Makes sense.
To poop all over them. Poop all over them.
Poop on you.
Hey, Bo!
Poop on you.
Kenny Florian, how's he doing?
Not well. He's got a herniated disc in his
Sorry to
lower
hear that.
back. He's probably going to have to retire. He was lifting weights. He had an accident, and he said his right leg is awfully numb. So Florian has been working, basically doing a lot of broadcasting, and he thinks the doctor told him, said, you know, your leg's screwed up, your back's screwed up. You might as well stop. Yeah. And so Florian's going to make a decision in the next 6 months whether he wants to keep trying to fight or whether he just wants to retire and become a broadcaster like he's been doing.
Okay. Chris Cyborg Santos. She got in all sorts of trouble with the California State Athletic Commission. You try saying that. Think it's easy? You try saying it. California State Athletic.
Just call him the CSAC like I always do.
Oh. Let's get some of these Marvel and DC artists out here.
CSAC.
Desatos televisatos. Yeah, okay, whatever.
So Cyborg, she had a
Yes.
fight against a Japanese fighter, Hiroko Yamasaka.
Yes.
She knocked her out in like 16 seconds, and then after the fight was over, she did a urine test, and it came back positive for steroids.
Oh, great. Wow.
So she's been suspended for a year, and she was fined $2,500. Now she says that she actually took a dietary supplement that her trainer said was cleared and able to be used, but obviously it wasn't. So she'll be sitting on her butt for a year. Now, in her defense, she's never failed a test before, so she probably just screwed up. Okay. But she can't really appeal it, so she'll be sitting on her butt for a year.
Well, there you go. My advice to you is call Playboy and ask them if they need a centerfold.
Have you
Then you're free.
Have you seen her?
Yeah, well, she needs money, doesn't she?
Maybe she stopped the steroids. She
Okay.
was it up a little
Call
bit.
Hustler. See if they need a centerfold. Call Jugs. See if they need a centerfold. I'm working my way down. What's beneath Jugs? I forget.
A swank.
Swank. Call
Swank
Swank.
still exists?
See if they need a centerfold.
Oh, like you don't know.
I-
Mr. Subscription.
Do people have magazines anymore? Hell, Creative Screening went out of business. Anything can happen.
Creative Screenwriting?
Yeah, they're gone.
Oh, it did?
Yeah,
I was wondering why I wasn't getting any.
Yeah,
Okay.
Silva Sonnen 2. What's up with Silva Sonnen 2?
If it happens, and it may happen in June or July, then it'll probably happen in a soccer stadium in Brazil.
In Brazil. Why Brazil?
Well, Silva's from Brazil. Sonnen will be,
Olympics.
well, in the Olympics as well, but they're doing shows well before the Olympics. Silva would be the conquering hero. Sonnen would be the ultimate villain.
Yes.
And
Wrestling. There you
when
go.
they
Wrestling.
when they announce
Heels and faces. Heels
when
and
they
faces.
announce tickets in Brazil, they tend to sell out in about 6 minutes.
6 minutes. There you go.
So, what the hell?
Okay, last story we've got is Rashad Evans and Phil Davis. What happened with them?
If Rashad beats Phil Davis here on the 28th at the United Center for UFC on Fox number 2, he will be the next opponent for John Bones Jones, the current champion in his weight status. If Phil Davis happens to win, then Jones will be fighting Dan Henderson instead. Now, the big money is Evans Jones because they used to be friends, they used to train together, and now they can't stand each other.
And that's it. We're done. We're finished. We're out of here. We've got no more BRAWLN news. But you can go to the Star's website. Check out all the BRAWLN news that we put on the website. This man sends me. I post up on the website. And where is the Store's website at? Oh.
Sarah knows! Sarah!
www.myalternatereality.com. It's like a loofah for your brain.
So go to the Store's website. Check out all of his news that he sends me that I post up. And until next time, this is Comic
I'm
Book
not
Game.
changing the graphic.
And this is Teller.
outhouse.
I'm not changing the graphic. You guys can switch all you want.
Saying bye.
The Video Outhouse is brought to you by some of the finest people willing to work for free. This is a list of some of them.